Sports Pueblo, 1350. This is the John Wristen Show. Let's join the voices of the pack, Jim Brooks and Joe Cervi, along with CSU Pueblo Thunderwolves head coach, John Wristen.
And good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Thunder Zone Pizza and Tap House for the Car Pros John Wristen Show. The head coach will be a little late tonight. Had a little lightning delay, but it's an empty chair right now, but we'll talk to him like he is there, John. See if he responds.
I think he got used to the clapping when he comes in.
Yeah, he wants to be a serenader when he comes in.
So early that no one would clap when he comes in, so I think he's used to now making an entrance, and so when he comes in, everybody clap for John, and it'll make him feel good.
Well, we have a lot.
He should feel good.
Yeah, we should. He will, because we had a lot to talk about from the game Saturday. Joe, that was one of the best Thunderbolt football games, I think, in the history of the Thunderbolt. I think it was that good a ball game.
You know, I'm going to say something now that I don't want to admit, and it's going to go on record, but Mesa was better than I thought they were.
Bite your tongue.
I know, and I didn't give much credit last week. You know, and I didn't give. I talked to John a lot all last week, and I said, you know, you should just mop these. You know, I just had that feeling, and then I watched them play, and they hit, and they had some speed, and they were physical, and you know, they got some pretty good players over there. And so they were better than I thought they were. I think still CSU Pueblo was a better team, but the way the game went, I had to give Mesa some credit.
Well, defensively, they were big and strong up front. They kind of controlled the Thunderbolts' running game. They had good secondary. The linebackers flying around. It just made it tough to operate against them. But you and I kind of talked about it at halftime. Even though it felt like the Thunderbolts were getting run off the field, they had the Hail Mary, which got them the touchdown. They outgained them. They pretty much shut them down. They had a couple big plays here and there, but it wasn't like they were going up and down the field on the Thunderbolts.
No, we've done enough of these to know we get in the flow of games, and sometimes you feel like they're hanging on, or I never felt the outcome was in doubt.
Yeah.
I never felt that they were going to lose that game. I was a little bit concerned about some of the plays. You know, I hate third and long, and you get longer.
Yeah.
You know, it's 3rd and 8 and you give up 13. That makes me, as a fan, as a sports writer, as somebody who likes that makes me crazy. So on these 3rd and 8s and 3rd and 9s, they give up a 15-yarder. That's when I want to grab the table and wring somebody's neck. But they played between the 30s.
Yeah.
And I wrote about it yesterday in yesterday's Chieftain. The CSU Pueblo specialists were outstanding. And they have been outstanding. Quietly have been outstanding all season, but they won that game, I think, on Saturday. Yeah,
with the punt game and the kicking game. I guess you could say they did give up the one kickoff return, but you can't blame actually the kicker on that one. It's as John said, it was a coverage issue where a couple of guys went the wrong way. And I watched the broadcast on ESPN3 on Sunday, because you watch it online. If you want to see the game, you still can. They store it forever, and you could see where a couple guys got out of their lane, and that's what opened up the middle of the field, and that's what screwed that whole kickoff return. And at that point of the ball game, they were kind of in danger, down 10-3, and things just weren't flowing very good for them.
Well, and the other thing too is you know, this team has always had a feel-out process. We see it every week. You do all this stuff during the week, and you got a good scout team, but until you see it, even at Highlands, they had that feeling out process. It's one of those South Dakota Mines was even more of a feeling out process. And I think that Mesa came out and hit him in the mouth a couple times and kind of woke him up and said, okay, we're on. Let's get it on.
Now, it was very exciting there at the end of the first half to hit a Hail Mary, to get a touchdown like that. I mean, that's just like a gift from the gods to get a touchdown like that.
You could go look at that on replay. You can go to ESPN3 online and look at that replay. And then if you're fans out there, I want you to do that, and then I want you to go look and see how big Josh Smith is.
Oh, my goodness.
If you go to that play, and you have defensive backs and receivers, and you see Rex rolling out, and the ball's coming right at you, and you go and you look at the end zone, and you look and see how big number 3 is at CSU Pueblo. He is a specimen. And, I mean, he looked like a man among boys. And when he took the ball from everybody, it was sort of like, okay, you win.
Well, O'Shea had a big-time shot at it.
Should have caught it.
Kicking himself. He had both hands on it. But when you're going up in traffic like that, but he kind of just softly deflected it. I mean, it couldn't have fallen into your lap any better. And so you get the touchdown like that. Then you come out in the second half, get a quick score. I mean, hit Boyd down the middle, which was a great play, 53 yards, I think it was. So you're getting the end zone. Marche, a couple of good runs. You're up 20-10. You're feeling good about yourselves. But then this Easton Salem kid for Mesa, he is a pretty good operator of the offense.
Elusive.
Yeah.
You know, he would make you miss. He made a lot of people miss Saturday. And just when you think you have him, he gets rid of the ball. He's got that football IQ and that clock. And I asked some of the defensive backs or some of the defensive linemen and linebackers after that game, how frustrating were you trying to track this guy down the entire game? Because he's kind of a pain in the butt.
Right.
And not only that, but he's fast. He's a lot more accurate than I thought he was. His receivers are decent. Not the best receivers we've seen. I mean, they're just not. But they're serviceable receivers. And when your quarterback's making all those plays, you know, I'm surprised they didn't have more illegal men downfield and just certain kinds of penalties that would go with that. But again, they gave them all they wanted.
Well, I thought also Mesa was guilty of doing what Mines did in the past. They outsmart themselves in a key situation. Your best player on the field was your quarterback on the edge. I mean, they couldn't stop him. And what do? On the goal line, they ram it right in there from a yard out. They don't get it. You're going right into the teeth of the Thunderbolts line with Sizer in there. And then the critical 4th down and 3 call, which it's a tough nut to crack to get 3 yards from the Wildcat. I don't care who you're going up against. And they stuffed him, Brandon Pear, with a, you talked to me, you called it online. I had to watch the replay to see just because you were watching that. It was like a missile.
He got ahead. You know, he plays in the middle, so he's about 3 yards off the line of scrimmage or behind the defensive ends.
Right.
So, and he guesses gaps.
Right.
You know, he doesn't move a lot. He'll guess a gap. And he saw when David Tan is the lone guy behind center, you know he's going to run it. And one, he guessed correctly, which is great. So he guessed right, and he just shot that gap, and it was, and he hit that guy head on, and it knocked him back, jarred some teeth, and that was a huge play.
And it wasn't even close, and they ran basically the same play on the fake punt, which didn't happen because they got called for the delayed game, but that was basically when they direct snapped it to Tan. He ran the same exact, and the Thunderbolts stopped it there. I mean, the interior of the line was not the place to go, and here was Mesa thinking, you know what, we're going to outsmart these guys, we're going to go right up inside there, because they're going to be thinking we're going to go to Salem, our best player, let's try to fool them.
But the thing you got to think about CSU Pueblo is people think that because you look at their size along their defensive front, these are not big guys, relative speaking, especially in the history of CSU Pueblo. These guys are not huge monster defensive linemen. You know, Josh Croy is 270. He's a svelte 270. Deion Sizer's a big guy, and Michael Wristen's kind of lanky. But they're not huge, so you think you can run power at them. Right. And then you think, okay, well, we can't run power, we're going to run wide. And then you got Norton and Brandon Pay, and you can't go side to side against that.
Right. Then the other keys to the ball game, I thought, were Rex had a very indifferent start to the ball game. I mean, he was just throwing some balls in the turf, just didn't seem like he was ready to roll. But as the game went along, he started to hit some plays, and he hit enough big plays that really kept him, got him back in the game, I think.
Hey, look, there he is.
Coach John Wristen making his way in, ladies and gentlemen.
You know, John Wristen's in the house for the John Wristen Show.
It is the Car Pros John Wristen Show, by the way. We thank the Car Pros for bringing you this show. And, of course, everybody here at the Thunder Zone Pizza and Tap House. Come on out and join us if you're cruising around. Come on out and join us. You can see what we've got here. We got the Caprese, Joe, the stuff you love. We got the pretzels. And we got the potato skins.
No, those are pork rinds.
Pork rinds, yeah. Excuse me. Well, I don't. That's probably why I misidentify them, because I just don't get in there. It's hard for me to eat fried skin.
Yeah. Fried fat.
I know people love them. My wife loves them. So here he is, the head coach, John Wristen. John, how you doing?
Good. What's up, guys?
How was the lightning out there? What, are you afraid of that stuff?
No, I'm not.
I am.
Like you.
Yeah, exactly.
He's been hit by lightning.
If you've been struck by lightning, you run for the nearest shelter.
But that's your excuse.
Right, exactly.
That's your excuse. So, hey, it sounded clear out there.
Beautiful.
You guys. Yeah.
Oh, we were having
Did
fun.
you listen to what we said? Were we making sense?
No. No.
That's what I like to hear.
No, you weren't. You weren't.
What's new, right?
Right. So.
Well, we were just talking about this little game on Saturday against Mesa.
Yep.
And we talked a little bit about how this is a pretty good football game.
I thought that was one of the top 5 played in that stadium. I think that you could throw a couple playoff games. You could throw our opening game. You could throw a lot of different ones. But this is definitely in the top 5 of games, I thought. I thought both teams played really well. And there was one team that found a way to win it in the fourth quarter. There was one team that found a way to score 10 points in the fourth quarter to overcome the game.
Right.
The ebbs and flows. I talked about the game's ebbs and flows, and I heard you coming in, and I do have to admit I heard you, and it did make sense that Rex struggled a little bit early on, and we're having trouble running the ball, and I knew that I just had to keep our offensive coaches just to be patient.
Right.
You had to be patient to understand that it was going to come around. And I said, if not, then let's not be a dumbass and keep running it up the middle, okay?
Right.
So we were able to go and find some things, and then Rex got a rhythm, and we caught the ball and made some plays. So I really thought that was really one of the turning points in the ball game. Was one, we were able to protect Rex, and we were able to get it out in the flats. And then we put some new wrinkles in, and it was able to create some good plays for us.
Well, you talk about Rex's protection. That was a nice thing to not have to worry about Saturday when he was back there. I mean, he was untouched the entire game.
Yeah, it was a lot different than last year. Last year we had to pick them up and glue them together during that game, and so that was really a nice job for Rex and our offensive linemen and our offensive coaches come up with the scheme on that.
You ever find yourself having a hard time focusing here at the Thunder Zone Pizza and Tap House? John, you walk in, we're starting to have a good conversation here, but all the food is starting to arrive for everybody out here. You can just look around, look at everybody just noshing on everything out. It looks good.
See some cheesesteaks out there.
Yeah, the cheesesteak looks big. They got a little side salad that looks good.
The tap house, look at all the taps.
Yeah, we got lots of, it's flowing. Lots of baskets and stuff. Whenever you get a basket of food, it just feels good. And you got the Rockies game getting ready to start here, or it has started actually. So we got that in the background. But come out here and join us here at Thunder Zone Pizza and Tap House, Car Pros John Wristen Show. We're going to take a quick time out here. Come back, we'll dive a little bit more into the ball game, get John's thoughts about it. You've already heard what Joe and I thought, but we'll see what John thinks. We're also taking questions here tonight. 719-671-7574. 719-671-7574. We also have the hot mic. If you're in the house here and want to come give us a question, we've got Thunder Zone tickets. We've got a T-shirt here. We've also got some Thunderwolves sunglasses. But you have to come give us a question. Look at those beauties that Joe's holding right there. That's what you get a chance to win. But you got to come ask us a question.
That kind of looks good on Mr. Potato Head right there.
Oh, you're cute.
And the T-shirt's extra large. So if you're an extra large kind of individual, come on up, give us a question. We'll be back after this timeout. Thunder Zone Pizza and Tap House on the Car Pros John Wristen Show on Fox Sports Pueblo.
The John Wristen Show on Fox Sports Pueblo 1350.
And welcome back. Thunder Zone Pizza and Tap House. Joe not quite ready. We'll turn him off there while he gets his headset back on. He just continues to stuff his face even when he hears the loud music. That means we're ready to go, Joe. When the music comes on, you got to get ready.
You can't talk about the food if you don't try the food.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah, well.
I mean, right?
I'm just posting some beautiful pictures of the food on the old Jim Brooks fan page there.
Oh, there's a lot of people following that.
1,163 today, Johnny.
Oh, that's
Plus, that's the fans of it, and then there's another 1,000 followers.
Oh, that's awesome.
All because of what we do for the Thunderwolves.
That is
We got
great.
a lot of Thunderwolves fans out there. And we have one hater of Joe and me that watched the Cannon game on Friday night. Everybody loved your interview, by the way. I thought that was great, the interview we did for us on there during the Cannon game. That was a great ball game.
That was.
But we had one guy.
Well,
One guy.
Well,
He's either Arguello or Ariano. I can't remember.
I think it was my brother.
It could be.
His family.
But that was the one hater. But it was a good weekend. Then you backed it up by giving us a great ball game Saturday. And that was, like you said, top 5, John. I think maybe Duluth. One of the West Texas games when it was a crazy atmosphere. The Mines national television game was a good one. That one ranked right up there because of what was on the line.
Yeah, I thought both teams, like I said earlier, really, really played well. And I thought, it's kind of funny. You go through the week and you got a feeling your kid's going to play well, but you just don't know. And I'm sure Russ had the same feeling about his guys. And both teams went after it. And it was nice to be able to see one of those old-fashioned heavyweight 15-round fights. And some guy had to win it at the end, and I'm glad it was the Thunderwolves.
You know why I like Russ Martin? I know you like Russ, too, a little bit. He was very gracious after that game. I mean, he was very complimentary of Pueblo, the crowd, the way the game was played, of your team. He said, we make a couple plays, it goes the other way, but it was a great college football game. And that's why I like Russ Martin, because he's, rather than say it could have, would have, should have, whatever, he just was gracious in defeat.
Well, I think if you look at it, we're lucky at halftime to be 13-10.
Yeah.
But those are those 5, 6, 7 plays you talk about making a game. And so I think the key to that was our defense got to stop. But if you go back to the whole game and you really review it, I think when we kicked that 47-yard field goal,
huge.
That gave us a little okay. It gave us a chance to breathe a little bit. And then we turn around and give up a 97-yard kickoff return. That's I don't remember last time we've done that.
That's your ultimate ebbs and flow.
That is so. It was quick. It was very quick to have that. And then our kids kind of settled in, and we're able to start getting a little traction a little bit. But you realize that we scored 2 touchdowns in a matter of 2 minutes.
Right.
In that ball
going
game.
In and coming out.
And so I really think that helped gain a little traction. Then we kind of sputtered through the third quarter. And I don't know whether we got conservative or what we were thinking, but, they weren't just going to lie down.
Right.
And then we were able to go make some throws. I think really Rex was the key to the ball game. He was able to make some key third down throws that we weren't able to make in the first half. And yet we still stayed with it. We were able to do that. But the other part about the first half, in my opinion, was Amon Johnson's really a 5-yard catch that turns into 20, 25 to get the next play thrown in the end zone.
Right.
And so that kind of goes unnoticed a little bit in the stat book, but those are the setup plays that help you go win a ball game.
Well, a lot of strategy in the ball game too on both sides. They on the goal line elect. Joe and I were kind of talking about it. It kind of reminded us of Mines a few years back when you get down there on the goal line and your best player is your quarterback. And they went wildcat, ran it up right into the teeth of your line, which is the strength of your ball club, and that didn't work. Kind of like Mines tried to run it up. Maybe these guys don't watch film, the big head coaches. But I would have gone to Salem around, Salem was chewing you up. And then on the key 4th down conversion in the fourth quarter, they went wildcat again. They tried a fake punt, which was lucky for them, a delayed game. They kept testing you guys in the middle, and you guys kept rising to the occasion, I thought.
Well, the part of that is that they were motioning Salem out, so we had someone covering. I thought they were just going to streak them down the sideline and throw them. And so they were trying to play the numbers game, and we had one more than they could block. Well, we were playing a little bit of a different defense, and we had it covered up. And Deion Sizer goes and blows the center up on the first time. The second time not on the goal line. On the goal line stand, Michael Wristen made one of the best plays.
Right.
That guard stood him up, and he threw him to the side and threw his body right where the runner was going and stopped him from gaining that momentum. I mean, it stopped him right in his tracks, and then here comes the rest of Thunderwolves defense to clean it up. And it was funny because in my perspective, I couldn't tell whether he got in with the ball.
Yeah, it was close.
And then, but you never saw the Mesa guys go.
Yeah, they were never excited.
They never got a touchdown, and we saw that before.
Yeah, exactly.
But we also won. Those guys did a great job of trying to stop it and make sure that we got that done. Then the key though is they adjusted their blocking on that 4th down. And so they kept the center and the backside guard, the left guard, ball was going to the right, on Dion. And so they had no one for Pear. Pear read it just right, and he got pad underneath pad and just laid a picture-perfect tackle.
It was like he was running the play. He's got a future at fullback there, John.
Well, yeah, he's got a lot of future.
He is, John, I mean, he was all over the place. It was one of his best games. It's not his best game. And he's had some pretty good games, but a lot of guys had some games. Yeah, I mean, and you give Mason credit on their, their goal line, they tested you well down there. You had to choose.
Well, we got it in on the time we needed to for a touchdown. I mean, we needed a touchdown there, don't get me wrong. And we had a play action call to Patrick O'Malley. We had it. Yeah. And
kind of lost track
a little bit, but
you run that play all the time in practice. And Patrick O'Malley's very good at it.
Well, they were going to run it to the field, but I wanted to keep Rex right-handed.
Okay.
Because he normally goes to the other side.
And so I wanted to keep him right-handed, just so I didn't want...
You didn't want to pick six the other way.
I wanted right-handed so he could make his best throw versus going to the left. And I think if I really believe in keeping it to that right to be able to get done. So how cool is it we're able to watch Morgan Fox play?
Yeah.
Pueblo right up here and be able to do that.
And we're watching the Rockies down 3-0 in the first.
3 hitters, 3 runs.
Paul Goldschmidt, 3-run home run in the bottom of the first inning.
Could have been Verlander, like you said, Joe.
Well, it's hard when you don't have a true ace, but hey, they had their chance to go get one, and they opted not to.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we still got 8 other innings.
They do. Buddy. It's not over, right, Coach?
Yeah, at this pace, it'll be 24-0.
Well,
yeah, rough crowd. Right?
Now I know why guys like listen to the game.
That's right. We bring
so negative.
We bring a different taste.
Well, certain things give me optimism. I'm still optimistic in the game because it's like we talked about at halftime. Johnny, when we went over the stats, we looked at the stat sheet. It wasn't like they were mowing you guys down. You guys were outgaining them. Of course, it helped to have the big, 43-yard play at half. But even if you throw that one out, you guys still had a little edge stats-wise. You were controlling the clock. They were just making a few plays on defense when they needed to. But as the game wore on, you started running the ball a little bit better. So it just kind of worked out the way you kind of like it to work out, where you just kind of impose your will as the game went on.
In my opinion, early on, we had trouble adjusting to their quickness.
Right, they were fast
on defense. Right. And I think they were slanting an angle and doing a lot of different movement. They showed about 4 or 5 things that we hadn't practiced against. So it took our guys a little rhythm to get into it. And so with that being said, we were able to adjust. And then probably I think the play that really is special was one of the best runs.
Oh, the touchdown ring.
Oh my gosh.
Marche.
Powerful.
Marche, I know Cam McDonald had a lot of nice runs, and I ain't taking anything from Cam, but that's a Cam McDonald category in that with what he did, and that was a special run by Marche.
5 tackles? Is that what you counted? Maybe 6.
6.
Yeah.
6, but he got stuffed right on the line of scrimmage, and then he kept his feet driving, and then he broke another tackle, spun, and then Amon threw him in the end zone.
His first touchdown was a pretty good run, too. He just made a great cut, made everybody go the wrong way, and he just... That was a good concept there, too.
I asked Marche after the game about that. Said, when did you become a power back? And he said, I never thought of myself as a finesse back. And I go, well, not necessarily, but you're definitely not, like John Riggins. And he said, you know what? It's just the strength and conditioning of his body maturing. He said, I feel like I can break tackles now that I didn't used to be able to break. And I didn't mean to offend him, but he was like, I'm not a finesse guy. I'm like, okay.
Well, the thing, if you go back our first game, and it's really first carry, he ran over the guy at Colorado School of Mines right there. And so that should be an indication of what he's got. Yeah. So I think the other thing is we made some big plays with our tight end. Aaron Eckhoff had a great catch, and we're trying to do that. And then,
give him a shot. He's in the house tonight.
I just saw him walk in, so why do you think I'm talking about him? Heck, what the heck?
He was clapping for Zach Boyd's long pass, right? There you go.
He's got his lovely mother and an aunt here to help support him. And so, but Aaron and Zach back, we came right back to it the first play of the second half, and those plays had over 100 yards to them.
Right.
And so we knew that they were the safety Rivas going to come down and jump the guy in motion, and then we went and played action, and we really didn't get a great fake out of it and all those things. But I tell you, Rex made a great throw on the first one to Aaron. It was guys bailing down, and he just shoves it out there about 40 yards for him to go catch.
Well, you got the explosive plays in that game. That's what we talked about during the game. You had about 5 or 6 of them that were really critical. That it was tough to grind it out against them, but when you hit a big play, it kind of got you guys going.
Well, I think one of the statistics we go on every morning is that, or every Monday, is we talk about big plays. And so our defense didn't give up the big play except 2. They gave up 2 big plays, but we had 10.
Okay.
And so the way we're built, we might have to, we're going to be, fan and then feast. We're going to go through that. And so that's kind of what happened when we're trying to set that all up.
All right, Johnny. Ready for some questions?
I'm ready for some questions.
All right, next segment, we got the hot mic here. We've got it. Once again, we got the T-shirt. It's a
extra large.
It's a homecoming T-shirt. It is homecoming this weekend against the Mean Green.
It's not the European, extra small.
All right, we got these sunglasses. Joe had these sunglasses out earlier. Everybody in the house, this is what if you come up and give us a question. Beautiful Thunderwolves sunglasses. How do those? People won't want to wear them if I put them on my face. So we'll just let you. There, that's the way they're going to look on your head. And we've got some Thunder Zone tickets as well. So come on up, give us the hot mic question. Also taking questions on the text, 719-671-7574. I see your Uncle Charlie checked in. He was at the ball game, by the way. I'm sure you saw him, John. And we'll see what he's got going on. And we'll come back after this timeout. We are at the Thunder Zone Pizza Tap House. It is the Car Pros John Wristen Show right here on Fox Sports Pueblo.
The John Wristen Show on Fox Sports Pueblo 1350.
And welcome back, Thunder Zone Pizza and Tap House, Car Pros John Wristen Show. It's official. The Rockies have recorded an out, Joe.
There you go. They got 2 of them.
They've got 2 outs, second and third, down already 3-0. This could be the pitch of the ball game right here from John Gray. What do you think?
Well, he's got that hair, John.
All right, let's just see. We're gonna. This is called a jip. We're joining in progress. And it's fouled off, so that's good.
We got questions.
Yeah, we do have questions. So. John's more focused on that, and we should be focused.
Yeah, let's go.
The hot mic is ready. You ready to go? First off,
say your name.
Name, rank, and serial number.
Malia. I am number 85, Aaron Eckhoff's aunt.
There you go.
And I just a little plug.
Okay.
And I would like to know, I kind of feel like I know what you're going to say, but I want to know who is going to be the toughest opponent going forward the rest of the season.
Adams State. They're 1-0 this week. Really, our toughest opponent is ourselves. And so we got to make sure that we handle this and go 1-0 each week. And I talked to the guys. And this is a lot of stuff going on.
Come on now.
There's a lot of stuff going. But I talked to the guys about our biggest competition ourselves, and it's the 6 inches between your ears about how you're going to manage that. And I really talked about that before Mesa, because I really think Mesa wasn't our opponent. We were our opponent. And I really was proud of our guys, the way they played, and understood that. See, and that key to the game is Mesa committed 30 yards of penalty in a critical situation that gave up the game-winning touchdown. I was proud of our guys not doing that many mistakes. We still made mistakes. We're going to not be perfect, but I really believe our opponent is us. But we're going to go 1-0 this week versus Adams State. Thank you for the question.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you, Malia. All right, you ready to go? All right, name, rank, and serial number.
Hi, I'm Shelby. Coach, why did you decide to kneel instead of running the ball in?
Great question. I've been asked that a couple times. So, there's a couple factors to this, okay? So you got to understand, we got a chart up there that says, okay, if they got 3 timeouts, we got to make 1 first down to run it out, or we got to get 2 first downs. Or so they had ended up with 2 timeouts at that time, so we had to get a first down. We're lucky to get a first down. Marseille ran down there. But we had to run 1 play to be able to say, how long is it going to take with that timeout? So they've got to call a timeout. So then you look at your chart and say, you don't need to run another play. So you don't need run another play, and you don't want to run another play because of this. I've been in a game where you've handed off, you thought that was secure. Here comes the ball out, and someone goes 90 yards to go score. That's why. But it also is pretty satisfying is taking a knee on the 1 yard line, especially in a game like that. So I think that's the whole logic is I wanted to find a way to win a ball game. Manage the ball game is the best way. Great question. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Shelby.
All right, Shelby got her sunglasses. She saw those. It was a great question.
It was awesome.
Because Joe said, I'll run it in, it's Mesa. And I go, Joe, I can do the math. 40 plus 40 is a minute 20. Victory formation. I didn't need a chart, John.
Oh, well, that's why you're a radio guy and I'm a coach, I guess.
Well, I'm glad you had your chart. You guys have that that fictitious 2-point chart you guys carry around too, right?
Yeah.
All right, okay. All right, I thought you guys just knew that at the top of your head.
Here comes Charlie.
Charlie.
Hey, Charlie.
Hey, Coach. First of all, I just want to say I appreciate the gift you gave to Pueblo, Colorado, and the football fans of Pueblo, Colorado.
Hear, hear.
That was an amazing game at a lot of different levels. It was great. And I'm with Joe. That team was a lot better than I hoped they would be.
Me too.
You know, I have called in that.
They were really pretty good.
Yeah, they were pretty damn good. Oh, excuse me.
That's all right.
But, and you know, and a lot of different things. At every level, and the crowning thing was at the end of the game when you took the knee. That was pretty cool. You know, I sit on the east side. We sit on the east side, and there was a lot of stuff going on up there. Mesa State Teachers College guys going absolutely ballistic, and you know, a couple of people. Usually, I would have thought there would have been a big, brawl. But there wasn't. They let security handle it. So there was a lot of stuff going on over there. And when you did that, when you took the knee, there was a bunch of the most.
Following, I do have to say this. I get here about 6 hours, 5 hours before the game. We have recruits coming in, and so the parking lot was packed. And so here I'm coming out of our office here, and this RB pulls up, and they get it first, and they go, "Go Mesa!" And I was about ready to turn around and say something. I says, "Yep." I walked away. Then I was walking up there, and there's like 3 guys that were tailgating, had a great time up there, and they looked at me, and I looked at them. I said, "Hey, I hope you guys have a great day." He goes, "Go Mesa!" So I didn't need any more momentum to be able to say we'll find a way to beat you by 1, and our guys did a great job, and I knew that's what was the right thing to do, and for our kids, because you don't want to do something that's going to give them an opportunity to win. You take a nil, that's a percentage to do. I don't know if that's the classiest thing or whatever you're going to do, but it's the right thing to do to go win a ball game.
That is great, Coach. But the last thing I gotta say is, man, you gotta love them red pants.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of great comments.
Yeah.
I'm glad the kids talked me into doing it because I wasn't quite doing that. But
Undefeated
I'm
in red
glad the
pants.
kids.
Yeah, I guess stay in the red.
Undefeated.
All right. Thanks,
you.
Charlie.
Charlie and Gail right there.
We still have some tickets, Thunder Hill tickets. Anybody wants to go to the ball game Saturday night? We know you all want to go, but here's a chance for free, or you can give these to your neighbor and be like a hero.
There you go.
And give them to the kids. They were that was a great atmosphere. The kids sliding down the hill. Watch the replay on ESPN3. It was like, yeah, the kids were running up and down the hill, rolling around. You watch the guy on the pizza box.
Yeah, this kid, Coach, he did it like 20 times in a row.
Part of that, I think we need some help, though, in our routing. And I think we need some help from everybody preaching the choir here. It's a shame that there wasn't a 10,000 plus crowd. And so I don't know what the answer is, except let's not give up on it.
Right.
Let's not settle for it. We can't settle for that. We have to make sure that's not the standard we want to have here. We want to have a packed house. And so I know I'm preaching the choir. People are listening, be a part of it. But we got to expand our circles.
I think you're right.
8,100 though, pretty good crowd. And they were vocal.
They were into it.
It was a great crowd. It was
all right. Got a listener wants to know, is there any DVDs available of all your great games in the past? I don't know if that's something that we might have to pass that along to Dax Larson to see if there is a possibility of marketing something like that, because he wants from the national championship game and stuff like that. But that's kind of out of our expertise here tonight. But we'll pass that up the food chain there for you. Let's see. Can you explain how the top 25 poll works and why we are ranked differently in different polls? Which one do you think is more accurate, Johnny?
Neither.
Okay.
I think the polls, to me, are just...
Because they don't matter, right?
If you really understand Division II football, it's not like Division I.
Right.
There's a committee to get it settled, so you're going to have the best 28 teams in the country, per se. You're still going to leave someone out that's pretty darn good. And especially with 28 when there's 177 Division II playing football teams. So the polls, to me, mean nothing. And in a sense, there's one, the American Football Coaches Association that I'm on, that I vote every Sunday night, and we go through that, and I like to think that's pretty accurate. I don't know what the other poll. I don't look at it.
I only look at one poll.
I think it's on the Division II website. I've seen them.
D2.com, yeah.
Yeah, I don't follow that.
Or D2football.com it is.
Yeah, and that's polls, but they're talking points. They get people interested in your program, and people want to, when you win and drop, people are talking about it. And when you win big and only go up 4 spots, people are talking about it. So at least it generates the interest, the fan interest. It gives people something to talk about in that regard. I mean, you're part of a committee that picks the only poll that matters, and that's the regional poll in a few weeks.
Right.
But until then,
well, I think it's also to our players in our program. I think it's great for the fans. I think it's great for the energy. But I don't recall any of my meetings that you guys are ranked 14th this week. You're ranked. But I think that early on in our program, I just remember coming out after our last game or 2011, and one of the teams lost that we were ranked number 2, and they said, you knew we were going to be ranked number 1 going to the playoffs.
Right.
We're ranked number 1 in the nation, and that is pretty cool. Then we go to the playoffs, we get beat by Minnesota to lose, so it really means nothing.
All right, and for information, people hear me do my scoreboard. So I use the D2 site because it has all the games right there for scores, and that's how we use our ranking. People maybe hear me saying that, and you see the difference, but that's the reason why we use that on our scoreboard show. Uncle Charlie checking in. First wants to apologize for tripping over the bench, delivering the game ball, but he thought it was a great ball game. But his question is, what is your method for handling officials when there's a call you don't disagree with? Do you take a deep breath, or do you just kind of how do you handle that, Johnny, when a call goes against you? Do you just count to 3? Because you want to react, but sometimes you just got to go. I get the kid from Mesa probably wishes he'd counted to 3 before he stamped up and stamped his feet and gave you an extra 15 yards.
There's a lot of times you think you can influence the call. But in all reality, I am trying to influence the next call for what they're looking at. And so I believe there's a couple times in Mesa you saw me, I was adamant that they were covering up the tight end, and the tight end that they threw on the 4th down on that.
Been ineligible.
They would have been ineligible. Right. There was twice on that. And those things are pretty cut and dry. Right. They're cut and dry in my opinion. I'm standing right there. I go, you got to be kidding me. And so I don't know if that affected the penalty at the end. But did
you look at it on film? Was it?
It was a bad call.
Okay.
I was right. They were right.
All right.
I was right on that.
Exactly.
So the reality of that is, to me, I think officials got a tough job, and I think they do the best job they can. Do I always agree with them? No. But I've never been able to change a call. I've never seen a coach be able to change a call unless you got a replay.
Overall, though, in that game, for as good a game as it was, I thought that was maybe one of the best officiated games I've seen in the Army.
I agree, and I think it was one of those well-played game that let us play.
Right.
And they called the obvious.
Well, and I even told Jim, I said, I think it was a physical play downfield, and they didn't call anything. And I said, well, that's fine. If you're gonna do that, let them do that the entire. You just don't come in the 4th quarter when something's happened and then you throw a cheap flag. But I mean, hey, when we don't talk about them at all, It's a great game.
Yeah.
Well, part of that is my biggest gripe about officials, okay? You're trying to teach the guys, go to the whistle, and they blow the whistle like this. You know, like really soft, like it's in the library blowing a whistle, okay? Like really. Yeah. So in practice, we're blowing the whistle and getting after it a little bit, so the guys can hear it. So those guys are engaged, they're blocking, they're doing all that stuff. And for me, good officiating is coming and say, hey, the play's done, and then if they let up. But don't call it when you can't hear the whistle. That's one of my biggest gripes about officiating.
Well, Blake Nelson, he got that 30. He got 15 and then 15. He was right in front of you.
Well, his 15, he came in hard.
Right. Yeah.
He came in with the crown of his helmet. Came in after the guy was down, and then he got up and goes, "What the blank are you looking at?" And that was automatic.
Yeah, the hat flew off it. That's when you run out of luck.
Make sure they were going to call it then.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take this time out. We thank everybody for all the questions this week, for everybody in the house giving us them, plus the text questions. Come back. We'll talk about Adams State after this timeout. CarPro's John Wristen Show here at the Thunder Zone Pizza and Tap House on Fox Sports Pueblo.
The John Wristen Show on Fox Sports Pueblo 1350.
And welcome to the Thunder Zone Pizza and Tap House. CarPro's John Wristen Show.
They're howling. They're having a howling good time.
Yeah,
John.
I think Tundra's in the house.
She is. She's smelling some wings over there.
Yeah,
she's a service dog tonight.
Be very demanding.
You know, whenever you see Tundra indoors in a bar, she's a service dog.
We got to make sure we service her.
Yes, and she always. We've done this for so long that she goes right up to Jim and expects wing meat.
I know.
Right to him, and if he doesn't have them, she kind of looks at him like,
"What's up, dude?"
Big sad puppy eyes, and then she walks away. It's like, really?
Yep.
All right, John. This week's opponent, Adams State. No green. Anybody wearing green tonight in here? If you are, you have to leave.
No
green.
My eyes are green. I got green eyes.
Okay, green-eyed. And there's a green-eyed lady over there. Okay. All right. So it's Adams State week. This ball club can score some points, John. They're running them down the field.
Man,
they can't stop anybody, but they can score.
There's this quarterback they got. It's a transfer, number 4, Nick, and their offense is second in the country in passing. They're 4th overall. They're averaging 38.9 points a game. And 18, watch this receiver, 18 can flat out go.
Marquise Sorrell.
And then I just know him by 18.
Yeah, 1-8. They won 8.
Guy.
And then this running back, Brown, I have a lot of respect for him because he played last year, and I really thought he was a good back. And they're giving him the ball and mixing it up, and they're doing a lot of different things. And, you know, Tim over there, Tim Rosenbach, is just absolutely one of the best offensive minds around. And he's just got him going. He's got some guys now, and I'm happy to see it. And I'm happy he's doing well. But their offense is what makes that program go right now.
You say he's the number 2 in the nation in passing. I bet you there's 8 or 9 guys across the street that can't wait to play a team that's number 2 in the nation in passing. The secondary has come to play this year, and you got guys coming in and out all game long. Should be a great matchup.
Well, I think that again, our philosophy is what we've always done is we got to keep things in front of you, and so we can't give up the big play. We're going to try to do some things to let them nickel and dime us and get our alignments right, and so, you know, Coach Leo has done a wonderful job of trying to prepare that. And Mark Kreiner, you know, today we got cut short, so we got 35 minutes cut out of practice today. And we only had I counted out of our 22 starters, both offense and defense, we only had 12 of those guys there.
Yes. Because
we have class on Wednesday and being late and the whole bit. But, you know, it is what it is. You got to manage it through. And so our guys are, you know, now we're in this discussion a little bit. And so not what if. we're in the discussion, but now we got to go and make sure that we finish. Now 1-0 this week versus Adams State. The key is making sure Adams has to go 80 and not give him a big play.
Yeah, I was going to say, is there any point of emphasis you talk to the ball club? Do you go to the offense and say, hey, we need to score some points? You just preach your game, say, hey, we're going to take care of business the way we want to take care of business, or do you just kind of say, hey, they might score some points on us this week, we're going to have to up our game a little bit?
Well, I think I don't really try to do that because every game's a little bit managed. Last week's a defensive battle, basically,
right.
But it's a 30-24 game.
Right, exactly.
So, you're just trying to, I want to manage the game and do what we do. Our emphasis of play physical, making sure that you score touchdowns in the red zone, not give up touchdown, and make sure you have more big plays than the other. And then make sure that you don't beat yourself on penalties and turnover margin. Okay. So we do those 4 things. We emphasize, we got a chance to win a ball game then, Jim.
All right, got one other question here, John. I don't know if this is pertinent. You read that there real quick and then decide you want to answer it or not. I don't know what's going on there. Do you know about that? Okay, all right.
I haven't yet, but
okay.
I need anybody's willing to give a kidney to a big Pac football fan. He's in a dire straits of having one, and old Jim, he's a great Pac football fan.
All right, so that's a little inside baseball there for you, but defensively, this club's given up a lot of points, but is there something they can hang their hat on to where you feel like they got a chance to stop you in areas? Or what's their strength on defense? Because it doesn't look, the numbers don't show a strength.
They have none.
But obviously they got to have something they can do.
Well, I think their back end.
Or what do you got to account for, I guess?
I think their back end is very sound and very coordinated with them. And I think that they've played some different guys on the inside, and they're bigger guys, and so we're going to try to do what we do. We're going to run the ball. We're going to make sure that we keep the balls out of the air and not give up big plays and throwing interceptions, but their defense is solid in the back end.
All right, it got late quick. We got to get out of here. John Wristen Show brought to you by the Car Pros here from the Thunder Zone Pizza and Tap House. We thank our sponsors. We thank the Thunder Zone. We thank everybody coming out to listen to the show here in the building. Caitlin Norton's been our producer and engineer. Joe Cervi's my partner. John Wristen, the head coach. Thank him, of course. We got the ball game for you on Saturday, 5:30, pregame show, 6 o'clock kickoff. It is homecoming, Adams State in town. Until we talk to you then, Jim Brooks bidding you good night.
Go Pack.
Thanks for listening to the John Wristen Show on Fox Sports Pueblo, 1350. Tune in again next week at the same time for all things CSU Pueblo Thunderwolves football. Only on Fox Sports 1350, KCCY Pueblo.